Good afternoon, and welcome to both the final reading for December and the final reading for 2025. This is kind of a sad thing, but at the same time, it's exciting because 2026 will bring new and different readings and different experiences. And I'm going to be trying some new things come the new year. So I'm excited about that. And I think it's pretty good that we're going to be ending with the qualities of Jupiter, which is, all about expansion and growth. It is the area of blessings in our astrological charts. We tend to have a want relationship with Jupiter, but are afraid that when we start to get all those blessings, that it's gonna drop off. And so it's a place where there's can be a bit of anxiety. So the purpose for today's reading is to connect with what we can do to invite in prosperity and purpose in the coming year. The question that I'm going to shuffle into the cards is, what can Jupiter show and share with us at this time? I like this reading in the sense that it uses qualities of Jupiter. And so you can really use it for just about any purpose that you want to open up to blessings. It can also help you find where the blocks are to the growth and expansion and the blessings that come with Jupiter. All right, we have 8 cards in this spread. Some of them are the original correspondences that were used in the original spread. Some I did a little bit of digging on my own, and I pulled some that I felt were really good for right now. So we're going to see what comes up. Pick our cards. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. There we go. All right. Good fortune. Uh, What are we here to heal and to learn about ourselves that will lead to good fortune? So, something that we want to lean into as we're kind of transitioning from 2025 to 2026. What can we heal at this point, and what are we here to learn about good fortune and our relationship to good fortune? And here we have the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is saying it's time for us to take some action um, towards our own good fortune, right? Like cups is it's social, but it's what feels good. It's what helps us to flow. It's what helps us to be clear even, right? Because water can very much cleanse and purify. And so we need to be at this point healing all of those places we're afraid to take action, where fear is the dominating emotion. Or even if we're in very controlling communities and relationships, it's time to really kind of break away from all of that and to allow ourselves to take action that feels aligned, that feels right. It's intuitive actions, and we know what's going to help us open up. It's also important for us to be, grateful, right? Like the more grateful we are, the more we will attract the blessings and the wonderful things into our lives that, we are grateful for. And so it's important for us to be prepared to take action right now. Good health is the next one. What are we ready to heal and release to improve our health? This, I think, a lot of people tend to kind of turn to New Year's resolutions about being healthy and losing weight and exercising more. And I think those can actually lead to very deep wounds. And so this might be something really good that we can learn to release. And here we have the Nine of Swords, right? The Nine of Swords is this idea that no matter what we do, no matter how much we try, no matter how we try to explain ourselves, there's always going to be someone out to get us, that there's going to be something horrible, right? There's something coming to us that's really horrible. And so the more, again, I think it goes back to the idea that, we want to attract to us the things, the opportunities, and the situations that are going to allow us to really go after and cultivate wellness in our lives. And one of the best ways to do that is to understand where it is that we're feeling a lot of resistance, where we're feeling a lot of fear, where we feel that we're out of control and other people are controlling our situation, and to really start to tie up those ends and to say, you know what, I still have something that I can do. There's still something that is moving around that I can interact with. And it's important for us to be very clear that, even though there might be a boogeyman out there, or we might feel that no matter what we do, we always end up in this same spot. And so let's just give up. It's important for us to really look at where is our anxiety coming from, right? Like, so the Nine of Swords is very much connected to that sense of anxiety, that sense of dread that something horrible is out there. And so unlike the Eight of Swords, which is all about our fears and how we limit ourselves, this is really there's something in the air, there's something around us, there's something, that's triggering the anxiety, and we need to be aware. It might be very good time for us to look at, things that are feeding into the anxiety. And a lot of times our sleep patterns will feed into anxiety. The foods that we eat, they feed anxiety depending on what we're eating. If we're eating a lot of processed sugars, for instance, that anxiety feeds off of that. And so it's not about, making that New Year's resolution and saying, I'm going to eat healthier. I think what we're looking at is, what we really need to release is this idea that we don't have any control over our health, that we have to allow New Year's resolutions to kind of dictate us. And it's not true, right? Like, we just need to be able to release. What we really need to do is we need to face the anxiety and understand what's going on with the anxiety, and take little steps to start to rewrite the script that anxiety is feeding off of. Expansion is our next one. So, what resistance can we clear to allow room for expansion? So, what's kind of holding us tight? And here we have the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups to me is a very beautiful thing, right? Like, so the resistance that we need to let go of is the idea that we can't be playful. We can't be chasing dreams and goals that we had when we were younger, right? The Six of Cups is this nostalgic idea, this remembering of the fantasy and the whimsy and the joy and the innocence that we had when we were young. And it's kind of calling that back forward to us and saying, hey, you know what? One of the best things that you can do right now to create room for expansion is to imagine. Spend some time playing with your imagination, reconnect with your inner child, and allow yourself time to play, allow yourself time to have fun, so that you can remember what that's like. And it's going to go back to the opportunities, right? Like, if we're looking to take action and if we're looking to attract good fortune to us, we have to take actions, and we have to move towards activities that are fun, that are light, that make us happy. And it's what makes us happy, right? Other people don't have to understand why, for me, like, why do I have this obsession with going and playing mini golf, right? Like, it's something that I really enjoy and I really have a lot of fun. There's a lot of things that go along with that. And nobody needs to understand, and nobody needs to approve, and nobody needs to give me permission. It's just being able to say, this is what I want, and allowing ourselves to chase after those things that make us feel good. The next one is we have philosophy. So, what is shifting in our story that needs to be incorporated into our personal philosophy? So, as we're shifting from one year to the next, what is it that we need to edit out of our philosophy, and what is ready to kind of burst forward and come through? And a lot of water. A lot of emotions going on right now. So we have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is the home of the heart. It is the happily ever after. And what I really like about the Ten of Cups is the Ten of Cups means, we have created a home no matter where we are. And so if we're looking at how to incorporate that into our personal philosophy, it's the idea that as long as you're true to yourself, as long as you're finding the joy, as long as you're being authentic and transparent, then it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you're with. You will feel at home. You will feel at ease. You will feel at peace. And that's really what we want to be moving forward with, is this idea that no matter how crazy the world can be, I can be that home for myself. I can be that shelter in the storm, and that allows us to be able to really ease into whatever's coming. And as we, kind of play around a lot more with our imagination, and we learn what's the root of the anxiety so that we can really nurture ourselves and really help to, take actions that are going to help us to move not necessarily beyond the anxiety, but with the anxiety so that we understand, right? Because if you're fighting your anxiety, you're just going to make more of it. And then it can really start to spiral. The next one we have is adventure. That was my theme of this year was adventure. So what limits need to be stripped away to open ourselves to step on a path to new adventures? So what limits do we need to strip away at this point? Lot of water today. Here we have the Three of Cups, and the limits here is the communities that we're with, right? We need if we want to be able to really open up and take that adventure and go off and really feel all the feels around going off and having an adventure, we need to really look at the communities that we're in. I heard somewhere that 2026 is the year of closing doors. And so it's time for us to really look at what relationships, what communities that we have been in and we stay in either because, well, I've been here for so long, or if I leave this relationship or if I leave this community, other people are going to say things to me or they're going to think things about me. It's time for us to stop thinking in the context of the external and start to think of, well, when I'm in this group, this is how I feel. And if it's good, right? If it's, kind of engendering that playfulness, and if it's allowing us to feel good, then we want to cultivate that. We want to grow that. We want to put more energy into that. If it's the opposite, then we want to pull away. We want to step back because we will flow in and out of communities. We'll flow in and out of relationships. So it's very important for us to really remember that right now, for us to be able to go on the adventure of our lifetime, that we have to be looking at who's coming with us, right? If you think about the Lord of the Rings, if it had been different people going on that adventure, it would have had a completely different end. But all the people that went on there, whether they were invited or not, right, they all led to the completion of that adventure. And so it's really important for us to remember that a big part of our lives and what might actually be contributing to that worry and that anxiety are the people that we have around us. And sometimes we don't have any control over it. If it's people that you're at work with, or if it's people that live in the community that you interact with quite frequently, but you can take action to limit how much of your time you spend with them, how much of their how much energy and how much of your space they are allowed to be in. Now we're going to go to blessings and what blessings are ready to be accepted and seen. So what blessings are we ready, like are there and we're ready to accept? And so here we have the Five of Swords. So here's kind of the second of the swords. So we have anxiety, and now here we have this doubt, this worry. Um, the Five of Swords, like all fives, is a moment of pause, a moment of reflection. And so what, this is bringing forward when we're looking at the blessings that are ready to be received is, have we done enough? Have we accepted whatever it is that's going on? It's interesting that when we're looking at the blessings and we have the Five of Swords, we have um like the swords are mostly conflict based, and this one is can be seen as the opposite. This is I always like to think of it of the story, I think it was World War II, where it was Christmas Day and both sides decided to call peace so that they could just have a nice Christmas Day and enjoy. And of course, then they go off and fight each other. But that's what this is. This is that moment of, I'm going to let it go for now so that I can just be here. I can be in the moment. And in those moments of stopping the battle, stopping the fighting, there's clarity that comes in. And so you can see that he's holding a sword, right? But he's not holding it in a way that he's ready to fight. He's just holding it as if, okay, I've picked this up. And then there's other swords that are strewn and scattered around. And it's important to, and it's what's interesting is there's two and two, right? And so it's this idea, and there's two people that are walking away. So two people have put their swords in the ground and they're walking away. They're saying, okay, we're done. But he's still, I'm not sure what I want to do. There's still some thoughts and everything. And so that's what we're really being asked as far as, what blessings are we ready to accept? It's the ability to walk away with grace. It's the ability to, know what we're fighting for and to fight for things from the purity of our heart and to be very clear in what it is and to know when a fight is not ours to fight or to carry anymore. Then we have wisdom. So how can we cultivate a deeper well of wisdom? And here we have the star. To me, it's one of the most powerful of the water cards, as well as it's Aquarius based as well. So it's air, which is interesting because that's what we've had all the way through. We've had water and air all the way through. And so now here when we're looking at wisdom, what we're looking at is the ability to balance the mind and the heart, right? It's knowing how to be really clear with what it is that we want and what actions that we can take that will help us to feel fulfilled, that will help us to feel in that flow and to feel the love. Because as we're coming out of a really hard and dark year, it's important for us to remember that everything that we go through, it leads us somewhere. It teaches us something. It opens up doors. And we may not be where we wanted to be, where we expected to be, where we thought we would be, but we're where the universe has brought us. And as long as we're willing to accept that, we don't have to fight against, and sometimes that's what this Five of Swords is too, is we're fighting against our own forward movement, or we're fighting against ourselves, and like we're creating maybe stories, or we're creating situations that just make more conflict just because we don't know what else to do with it. And so having the star come in, which is also the first major arcana card here. So the star card is coming in at the end of this reading, at the end of 2025, and saying, hey, make your wishes and I will, like, the universe is going to provide for you in a way that you could never imagine, that you could, like, it's going to be so unexpected and it's going to be so out of your imagination. Even if you're tapping into that that Six of Cups, right? You're still not going to be able to imagine the absolute fantastic blessings and wonderful situations that the universe is setting forward. And so we need to be, really kind of tapping into that trust, that faith that we're going to be where we need to be. And our last card is inspiration, which is a perfect way to end as we move from 2025 to 2026. And the question is, what lens will help us hold space for divine inspiration? And here we have the Emperor, which is interesting because it's the first non-air, non-water card that we have. He's Aries, so he's very much fire. And I think that's what we need to look at is we need to have that inspiration, that Aries inspiration of new beginnings and new ideas and breaking out of what's been there. So as you can see, all the plasters falling off of him, and you can actually see his face, and the ram is all shiny and sparkly. So the inspiration is there if we're willing to break the mold. And it's very important for us to be willing to break free of the limitations, of the fears, of the worries, of the things that are feeding our anxieties, so that we can find the place that we need to be. The fact that we ended with two major arcana cards, both of which are very powerful. So this one is co-creation with the universe, and this one is setting boundaries and being very, very proactive in protecting what is ours and what is meant for us to manifest. Aries is also, that pioneer energy, that forefront of moving forward. And so it's really important for us right now, as we're looking at these blessings and these qualities that Jupiter is bringing, that we are very much in tune with our emotions, right? Out of the eight cards, half of them were water, and then we have two of them are air, followed by the other two being the major arcana cards. And it's really important for us to remember that right now, we still have actions. We still have choices because the first six cards are minor arcana cards. And then the last two heavy hitters coming at the end closer towards the end of the year, right? We're looking at, there's going to be a lot of cosmic influences coming in. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for us for growth, for expansion, as long as, we're keeping this magic alive and we're making sure that we're very firm with our boundaries and that we're very clear in what is ours. Because the best way for us to harness that energy of the emperor is to make sure that we're taking care of what's ours. And we started with an action, right? We started with this call to action of get out there and do what feels good. And that's what's going to be really important is that the emperor is coming in to say, okay, so weigh that against what you're doing. Be very clear in your boundaries. Be very clear in what it is that you want to do and your limits so that when you take these actions, you don't have to explain to people, especially when we're looking at these groups that are coming up, right? We don't have to explain ourselves to anyone. We don't have to ask permission from anyone. There's nothing out there that is required of us other than for us to chase our own joy. So I hope you enjoyed this final reading for 2025. And I very much will look forward to seeing you again on the channel in 2026. In the meantime, like, subscribe. Also, one of the things that I'm thinking of is breaking away from the spreads that I've been doing from that book, which is 365 Tarot Spreads by Sasha Graham. And I will be opening up to requests. So if there's a tarot spread that you have that you would like to see on the channel, please drop a comment below and I will reach out to you. In the meantime, take care, all the best, and I will see you in the new year.